So 2 months ago, when I first was making my Pulte scam video and, getting ready to drop it, I never thought that I would be making a follow-up to it or that there would be any excess information that I was missing. I thought I was going to be, done with it after the video drops. However, after I dropped the Pulte scam video, I was steeped in a community of people that had either been wronged by or had noticed the wrongdoings of Bill Pulte. I am going to be going over 3 stories in particular that I have heard over the past 2 months, and each story is going to progress in egregiousness as we go on, in my opinion. And then also we're going to be talking about a couple links between Bill Pulte and Team Giving, even though he says he has nothing to do with it. Before we go ahead and get into all of that, I want to shout out a couple of people that made this video possible and provided the information that's going to be given in this video. So to start out with, I want to give a big shout out to Lola Fontaine's mom, I hope I said that correctly, or at KristenHurt10 on Twitter. The @ will be flashing on screen right now, as well as you'll find her Twitter in the description below. Lola is a little girl who is in end-stage renal failure. They could use absolutely any financial help that anybody could provide, so even, $1 or etc. Would be helpful to them. I'll be leaving her paypal.me in the description as well if you'd like to donate, and you can find it over on her Twitter. Now, the next person that I want to give a big shout out to is Tatum's mom, or at JTKMom15411. That will again be shown on screen now and be linked in the description below. Tatum has osteogenesis imperfecta. There's no cure for it. It's a lifelong thing, and I want to give her a big shout out because she has been giving away money to people through donations that she's received. They could use some financial help as well, of course, if you have it. So again, big shout out to both Lola Fontaine's mom and Tatum's mom. Without them, this follow-up video really probably would not be possible, and so thank you to them once more. So now that all of the shout outs and everything are out of the way, let's go ahead and start getting into Bill Pulte's egregious actions. The first story that we have here, and the least egregious in my opinion, is regarding Tom Schaefer. Now, Tom Schaefer is somebody who followed Bill Pulte and, had seemingly either interacted with him or his team in regards to creating some art for an upcoming project, potentially Team Giving at the time. And so basically, he was told that he would be receiving some compensation for some art that he was, implored to do. However, upon giving the art over or showing the art to Pulte's team, or Pulte himself did not message him back at all, or they weren't going to be paying him, and he never received compensation for the art that he did make. Now, the reason that I say this is the least egregious is because there's not a whole lot of information here. I have a public tweet that was sent via Tom Schaefer, as well as, in DMs, he did verify that something along these lines did happen. However, I don't have any further information on exactly the details of what happened, but it is messed up to implore or even maybe employ somebody to create some art for you and then not pay them for it. There's not much left to say there. Take that as it is. Now let's go ahead and get moving on to the more egregious stories that I think are a bit more telling of Bill Pulte. So now we have Tatum's mom. She had went ahead and retweeted and replied to some of Pulte's giveaways. Then she was reached out to by a third party known as Rachel, and Rachel put her in contact with Josh Hinkle. Now, if you don't know who Josh Hinkle is, he is the president of Team Giving. At the time, Tatum's mom did not know what Team Giving was or what really was going on with all that. She she thought she was being helped by Pulte's team. Now, what turned out to happen was Pulte essentially provided a few people over to Team Giving in order to, you know, have them use their stories and etc. to get their website up and running and whatnot. Now, both Lola Fontaine's mom and Tatum's mom were two of the people that were initially going to be put on to the Team Giving website. Again, we'll get into Lola Fontaine's mom and etc. in the following story, but so Tatum's mom didn't really understand what the whole Team Giving thing was. Nobody really did at the time because it hadn't even fully been announced yet. However, they asked, you know, Tatum's mom how much they needed for the GoFundMe, how much was going to be left, and etc. So she provided all of that information to Rachel and to Josh. She had a conversation with Josh, and essentially what they told her was that they would not be providing any money to her, that they would go ahead and put Tatum's image and story up on their site, which apparently they didn't fully make clear with Tatum's mom, and then they would go ahead and allow other people to donate to Tatum's GoFundMe. However, after the amount of the GoFundMe is reached, I believe it was somewhere in the $3,000, any excess money then wouldn't go to Tatum, it would be held by the Team Giving charity. Now, what Team Giving says is, oh, well, that is so that way then we can put it towards other future, you know, cases that need help. However, of course, they could theoretically do anything they want with that money. Now, this was all kind of confusing to Tatum's mom. Then they went ahead and put up you know, Tatum as well as a couple other people on Team Giving's website. And then Tatum's mom reached out back to Rachel and said, hey, I do not want my son on this website. I don't want you guys using our story or whatever for your own profit. Please take us down. And then they went ahead and they brought the website down for a little bit and took Tatum off of the website. Now, mind you, again, they were not going to be providing any money themselves. It would simply be other people donating through the charity to these causes. Any excess money would not go to Tatum for future medical expenses. It would then go to, you know, the charity to hold and do with what they think is right with that money. It's also strange that Tatum's mom was initially, of course, trying to get help from Pulte, but then ended up getting help from Team Giving. Like, you know, Pulte either handed her information over to Team Giving or Team Giving found her through Pulte's giveaways. It is good of them to have taken Tatum off the website when the mom did request it. However, again, now Pulte and etc., all of them, they have it in their terms of service that they are allowed to go ahead and use your story if you provide it to them. Also, on Team Giving's website, there's a lot of personal information that you do have to input, so that not only do they have your address and, you know, your how much your income is and all sorts of stuff if you apply for a grant on Team Giving's website, but and they can theoretically do with that information as they will, because of course in their terms of service it says that they're allowed to use their that information, which means theoretically they could sell it or etc. But now let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is the next story of Lola Fontaine's mom. Now we are on over to Lola's mom's story, which is definitely the most egregious. So essentially, the whole thing happened where she replied and retweeted to Pulte's giveaways and etc. And somebody reached out to her on behalf of Team Giving before Team Giving was announced to ask them if they wanted to go ahead and be a part of their website. Now, you know, it's also confused her a little bit, but she went ahead and agreed to it because they need help for their daughter, and of course, you know, if you need that help, you're just gonna kind of agree to things. And so they agreed to go ahead and go up on the website, and then of course it was the same exact thing where they said, you know, we'll, you know, help cover what's needed on the GoFundMe. Anything after that, you know, is of course handled by the charity. And so after this, Pulte himself actually decided to fly out Lola's mom as well as Lola to his location in order to record a video with her. Now, it's very strange that he did this because he, again, is not supposed to be affiliated with Team Giving. However, Team Giving was essentially announced by Pulte, and Pulte provided people to Team Giving. And also we can see in, you know, this video back in October when Lola went out to Bill's location in New York City, he recorded a video with her. He said that he was also going to be donating money to her personally, but he, according to Lola's mom, never did. He also admitted that he would be giving contribution to Team Giving.
I will be making a financial donation. My wife and I, Diana and I, talked about a personal donation, so we're going to be coming out with that.
And so essentially he announced Team Giving. He showed Lola's mom off, as well as Lola, to show like these are the people we're going to be helping and etc. Even though, again, Bill Pulte says he has nothing to do with Team Giving. And so when he flew her out there, he basically treated her horribly. He gave her the bare minimum for you know, staying out there for a few days. So obviously he used that video in October that he made with Lola and etc. as publicity to get more followers and to get more attention, which I'm sure he did gain more followers and more attention off of that. Essentially, you know, he gave her the smallest amount of money that he possibly could in order to say, well, this is enough money for you to be out here. And they ended up spending most of their money on that was given to them by Pulte, you know, for the journey on taxi fare and parking for their car at the airport. And then so it left them with no money. And then so they had, you know, Lola's mom had to go on Twitter and ask other people for help because Pulte was not willing to give over the money essentially to you know, help them get food or etc. And then after she went ahead and had to start begging people on Twitter and etc., then Pulte came through and gave her a little bit extra money to grab some food. However, she, according to her, you know, he treated her terribly. You know, he used her daughter and her in this video in order to just get some views and etc. and to announce Team Giving. And the whole idea of them being on the face of this website and etc. was simply so that they could get some extra views and some extra followers. And so he treated this woman like garbage, used her for his gain, and did the whole exact same thing of sending her over to Team Giving so other people could try to finish off the amount for the GoFundMe, but ultimately he was not giving her anything, yet gaining the publicity off of her story. It's very similar and to exactly what happened with Tatum's mom, and I'm sure it is similar to what's happening with several other people. He clearly does ask his followers to, you know, donate to help people and etc. And he clearly and a lot of his followers don't have much money to donate. They're following him because they you know, are hoping to win something off of his giveaways. They don't really have the money to give away. And why is Pulte essentially announcing Team Giving? Why is Pulte so close to you know, Josh Hinkle? And so now that the stories are over with, we're gonna go over and we're gonna go ahead and clarify exactly what the weird things that are going on with Team Giving is, and then we'll go ahead and just tie a little bow on the video with the conclusion, and that will be the video. So let's go ahead and get on to Team Giving. Alright, so Team Giving. Essentially, Pulte constantly says he's not affiliated with them, he doesn't work directly with them, or he's not a part of their company, whatever. That's what he claims. However, the president of Team Giving is Josh Hinkle. Now, you can see Pulte with Josh Hinkle in a couple videos, including one that I had featured in my last video where he was with Mr. Wonderful. It was Josh Hinkle, Bill Pulte, and Mr. Wonderful. If you look, or if you do some research, I found a screenshot of Josh Hinkle's Twitter initially back in the day, and it was at Philanthropy _PA at the time, and it said, "Head elf to Pulte for Twitter philanthropy. New day, new opportunity, philanthropist." So essentially, he either was working with or working under Pulte, and he, mentions this in his bio on Twitter at the time. Now, since then, this account has been changed to Team Giving. So it went from being Philanthropy _PA over to Team Giving, which there is a screenshot that is there to kind of prove that, and as well as in the video where Pulte essentially announces what Team Giving will be and what it is. Josh Hinkle is there and is present. So why is Pulte constantly saying he's not associated with them or isn't working with them? He announces it. He donates to it. He helped get them people to, use their story and etc. He's buddy with the president, really buddy with the president of it. He is clearly, at the very least, affiliated with Team Giving, if not working directly with them, or for them, or it's not necessarily for them, but they're working under him, etc. There's something going on there. There's too many ties, too many links, and he's clearly too buddy with Josh Hinkle for there not to be some sort of affiliation. Okay guys, so I hope I explained my case as well as I possibly could. Overall, again, Bill Pulte, last time I wanted to say he's not a bad person, he's just this, that, or the other thing. Now I'm going to say Bill Pulte is an asshole. He is clearly rude to people. He's clearly, trying to use people for his own gain, for his own publicity, when for people like Lola, he never even helped her or gave any money towards her cause. He just let other people, his followers, help, and then he gained the publicity off of it. He's clearly associated with Team Giving in some way, shape, or form, and overall, I'm gonna say it. Fuck Bill Pulte. That's all I got to say. So also, if you've made it this far and you want other people to know about Bill Pulte's shenanigans and the bad things that he has done, I am going to have a tweet linked in the description below. That tweet is going to have some basic information about the Pulte scam, and it's also going to have the link to this video. I want you to reply to Pulte's tweets right when he drops his tweets. Reply to his tweets with this video. Also, other people that, if you see your friends or your family or anybody on Twitter that or etc. that is replying to him or retweeting him, just tweet them this link to let them know, Pulte is not a guy that you want to try to be getting help from, and you're probably not going to end up getting help from Pulte anyway, because you need a sob story that he can use for his own profit. So that tweet, again, will be linked below. Just reply to his tweets and other people's tweets with it, and we'll be able to show them this video and show them the bad side of Bill Pulte. The last video gained so much traction, and I was so happy with the results, and I'd like to thank every new subscriber I have and etc. On the last one, I mentioned that I would be releasing a EP called RockyStart. That EP has now been released, so if you haven't heard any of my music before, that will also be linked in the description below. It is out on every music platform. It's kind of like a new age love trap type music, and if that's your type of thing, then you might like it. And then also go follow myself as well as my my twin, who is a bit more offensive, Jason Nova, on Twitter. So my Twitter is CrazyRocky, R0CKY for Rocky, and Jason Nova, I believe, is Jason Nova 10. I'll have both of our Twitters linked in the description down below. Go let people know how much of a dick Pulte is, and I hope you all have an amazing day. And if you have anything that is troubling you or that you're struggling with, I hope you get through it. And I love all you guys, and just live a good life. Be nice to